I'm Harrison Graham. Let's rip a Bears Now mailbag here. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get on the show. We got Team Moody kicking things off. Interesting. I saw there's a chance Myles Garrett could get traded. Any chance for the Bears here? Well, I talked about this on 4Verts. Jeremy Fowler didn't report that they're going to trade him, but he kind of reported like, hey, if he really wanted out, the contract, the structure of it isn't impossible to trade for Cleveland. They would eat like a $41 million dead cap hit next year, which is a lot, but it's not impossible to just eat for a season if you're the Browns. And he just seems miserable, doesn't he? Now, no one forced him to sign the contract. I know Cleveland was saying they weren't going to trade him, so when they offered $40 million a year, he probably just bit the bullet. So, you can come to your own conclusions on who to blame on that. Let me be clear, though. The Bears are not going to trade for Myles Garrett. They can't absorb his cap right now. I mean, there's always a way, but I just think it's too big. But more important, forget the money. You're starting with 2 first-round picks. I just don't think the Bears are in a spot this second to be making that big of a swing. Now, if you want to say Trey Henderson's available for a second or third, you can talk me into that. Myles Garrett, who is unbelievable and would be the best player on this team by far, 2 1s and a day 2 pick. I don't think the Bears are close enough to justify that. I think that's a crazy risky move for Chicago, even though it would be fun as hell to see. I mean, I can fully acknowledge that. I would be floored if the Bears did that, and quite frankly, I don't even know if I would like. It'd be fun. Don't get me wrong. If I get the notey from Schefter, they're doing it. I'd be pumped, but I'd be like, holy shit! Like this is a major swing, which I don't even know if that makes sense right now. That being said, who is a player that you think the Bears should trade for? If it's Myles Garrett, put his name in the comment section below. But if there's someone else out there, maybe like I've said Jermaine Johnson, even though it seems that ship has sailed with the Jets, they're probably going to keep him. That's a type of swing I would take. But if there's someone else out there, go ahead and let me know who that is. Caden Gunvald said, if Brisker stays healthy, what can an extension for him look like? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he's mostly been good this year. He's had a couple duds. I didn't think he was good in Detroit. Really, no one was. I actually thought against Baltimore, it was one of his worst games of the season. Is it like a 2-year that's most guarantees on the first year? Is it like 2 for 16, 10 guaranteed, something like that? I don't think you can commit super long term with the concussion history. And hey, kudos to him. He's been healthy this year. That's great. But he's also not like a star. He's a good player, but if you told me in 4 months he's not on this team, I don't think it's catastrophic. Now, I do think he brings a juice and energy that's valuable to have, but if some team's willing to offer him 3 for $30 million or something, I don't know if you're the Bears, if that makes sense. Maybe the comp pick formula game for him makes more sense. So we'll see. I do think between him and Kevin Byard, keeping one makes sense because you don't want to enter the offseason having no answers at safety, but who knows? Does Gardner Johnson become a potential answer that you could get for cheap for next year? It's way early in that process, but he's kind of entered the mix now, even though they're mostly playing him at nickel right now. But I don't know. I would say it's a 1-2-year deal at, $6 to $8 million per year is probably what I'd be thinking. Okay, Evan, would a trade for a running back increase Swift's injury being serious? Sir, you're saying like if they trade for a running back, does that mean Swift's injury is more serious than we think? It could. He's playing through a groin issue. Now, how severe is it? Is there major risk of further injury? I don't know. It kind of feels like has it maybe just slowly gotten worse as he's played through it? That certainly feels possible. It could be a combination of that and just, hey, there's good value out there. And also maybe they don't like Roschon's situation either with his back injury, and you just want to get a third reliable runner into your system, like a Jerome Ford type. Like it doesn't have to be a big swing or anything like that. So I think all of that is possible, Evan, but I can't say with like 100% certainty either way. All right, we are sponsored by PrizePicks here on Chicago Bears Now. Shout out to PrizePicks, the best daily fantasy sports app out there. The hard-hitting football action is even better with PrizePicks. The weather may be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play for your first $5. $5. The way you play PrizePicks is very simple. You just pick more or less on player stat projections, all sports available. For 2 to 6 player lineups, got to pick at least 2 players on 2 or more teams. Up to 6 players, pick more or less on tons of stats available: passing yards, receiving yards, points, rebounds, assists, basketball, goals in hockey, strikeouts in baseball, all kinds of stuff. More or less, you are good to go. Here's an example of a 3-player lineup I've got. I've got more than 230.5 passing yards from Caleb Williams on Sunday, less on Chase Brown's rushing yards this game, and then more on DeAndre Swift. Again, with his injury situation, if he does not go in this game, it would just revert to a 2-player lineup, or if he were to play and get hurt in the first half and not return, PrizePicks offers injury insurance, so it would also revert to a 2-player lineup. Pretty cool and generous feature that they have. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, we got Matt here. Appreciate the 5. Bengals rush defense is dead last, allowing 152 with Komet back. I hope. Well, he's limited as we're filming this, so do want to make that clear, but hopefully he's back. I hope to see us get back to pounding the rock. Hopefully Swift plays bear down. Komet did talk to the media this week. That's typically a sign he'll play. By the time other people watch this, we're recording live on Thursday, he might be full go, so I do want to get that out there. But, yeah, I mean, I know everyone's focus is on Caleb in this game, and I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but, you might be able to have a field day running the football too. And, if the run game's working consistently, stick with that as well. So, yeah, hopefully Swift can go. If he can't, maybe this is a 20-carry Kyle Monungai game. So it would be interesting to see how he handles a bigger load. DC Viper, appreciate all the questions, guys. When has Ben going to use Loveland and Burden more? Pick them 1 and 2, yet for whatever reason they are not on the field much. Well, Loveland's on the field a lot. Let's make that clear. He's playing a lot. He's blocking a lot. They aren't throwing to him as much. I liked last week how on the opening script they just ran a simple boot to him. He was open, picked up 18 yards. I do agree they need to utilize him more, but he's playing a lot. With Burden, I think a couple things are at play. And first of all, he's in the concussion protocol. He's probably not going to play this week. Might already be ruled out by the time some people watch this. I think a couple things are at play. One, Olamide Zaccheaus, they trust more, probably from a playbook standpoint. Caleb seems to, think he's really reliable. I would say after Rome, he probably trusts him the most in terms of just hey, I know where he's going to be, so I'm going to throw him the football. I'm with you. I would like to see more Luther Burden, but if they don't trust him in the full playbook arsenal, then, he's a rookie. That happens sometimes. So I'm with you, especially big picture. They need to be focal points of this team, and hopefully the second half of the season they get more involved. Subscribe to the channel. We have daily videos, live watch parties, including 2 other live shows per week. Every Monday and Thursday we go live, plus obviously on game days as well. We drop videos every single day, long form and short form content, updates, injury news, game previews, trade rumors, especially leading up to the trade deadline. Don't miss out. Subscribe, turn on the notifications. We got you covered. Okay, Sean the Savage, Bears call the Pats for Henderson. They wanted him in the draft. At least make a call. Yeah, call the Patriots for TreVeyon Henderson. I don't know what's going on there. Now, Ramondre Stevenson's dealing with an injury now. They're 8 games in to Henderson's rookie year. It would be pretty shocking if they punted on him this early, even if they don't love what they're seeing out of him. But sure, if I'm Ryan Poles, I'd call, hey, 4th-round pick, guy that went in the 2nd round, I would do that. You'd have his whole rookie contract. Would the Patriots trade him for a 4th after drafting him top 40 this year? That seems unlikely. I probably wouldn't do a 3rd right now for him. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm imagining some teams have called just to check in on that situation. All right, Drew Donahue. What would it take for the Bears to trade for Quinnen Williams? Also, would we have to move on from one of our edges to do so? Well, Williams would play defensive tackle in this scheme. DA might kick him out every once in a while, but probably a 1st. And I'm not trading a 1 right now. If a 2 was on the board, I would think about it, I guess. I don't think the Jets are taking a 2 based on the reporting that's been out there. The reporting has pretty consistently been they don't want to trade him, but if they get a big offer, they'd at least listen. To me, that sounds like a 1st-round pick. So I'm not doing it for a 1st. Second, we can have a conversation. If for some reason it was a third, sure. But other than that, I think I'm passing on Quinnen Williams, even though I really like the player. All right, predict the score. Bears, Bengals. Who wins? What's the final score going to be? I've got Bears 31-20. You guys let me know. We got Where's Nestle? If the Bears win on Sunday, who is the most realistic and reasonable player we could trade for? The most realistic and reasonable? It's hard to know without knowing who's truly available and what the cost is. I don't know. Would it be like Matt Judon for a pick swap? I think the Dolphins would take anything for him. So maybe something like that in terms of most realistic and reasonable. Could you get a Jalen Phillips or a Jermaine Johnson? It doesn't seem like Jermaine's available, but maybe that changes. At a running back, Jerome Ford, I think that's a similar situation to like Matt Judon. I think the Browns would take a late round pick or a pick swap. So something like that. It could be, corners are going to be out there. If you need another outside guy, what's the cost? Unclear. So John the Savage, why stop with the reunions? Go get Chase Young. He has more sacks in 3 games than Dio has in 7. Yeah, Chase Young's having a good year. He just got back from his injury. That's always the question with him, though. 2 things. 1, can he stay healthy? 2, his motor in his career has been inconsistent. Now, Dennis Allen would know that situation very well. So I think if they did trade for him, they would feel good about where he's at mentally. He's got a 3-year, $51 million contract. So when he's healthy, that's pretty reasonable. It's basically the same as Dio's, and he's a far better player, especially from a pass rush standpoint. So sure, if he's available and, you can pivot off of somebody this offseason, I'd be open to it. But I do have concerns about his injury history. All right, appreciate all the questions. We will continue the conversation over on social media. DMs are open. Got to catch up on some from this weekend. I will do that soon. Hashtag, not hashtag Bears in the DMs, but at HGramNFL on Twitter and Instagram. You know where to find me.